Hello, welcome, and thank you for tuning into Dandemutande TechTalk, a program in which we discuss the trending topics in the realm of ICT today. Our topic for discussion for today is future-proofing your business in an era of disruption, and we are joined by Edward Chikoto, Digital Transformation Officer for Dandemutande. Edward, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you. The times that we are living in, Edward, they have been called an era, of disruption. Why do you suppose that is so?
Interesting, Dion. The era that we're living in nowadays, if we look at what's happening within our societies, what's happening within the business, what's happening in how people interact, how we conduct business, it has become such that there has to be a lot of catch-up that most businesses have to do. If you're not careful, you're actually left behind and you cannot recover. We know there are examples of companies that have failed to adapt to the new demands that are there on the market, the new demands that are coming from customers, and those have been left behind. Good example that we always want to talk about is the Kodak, the camera business that has been overtaken by cell phones, by digital cameras, even so to speak. So when such things happen within your industry, within your market space, that is the disruption that happens. So companies have to quickly adapt to the new changes in terms of demands, in terms of tests that we are seeing on the market. It is that disruptive. That is what we are seeing.
Thank you so much for raising that story of Kodak. There are so many cautionary tales out there, just telling us how much it is important that we need to adapt and adapt quickly. So thank you for raising that, Edward. But what does that mean for Zimbabwean businesses, this era of disruption? What does it mean for us?
That's the space that we are in currently. It's a great opportunity for those that can catch up, that can be ahead, that become the pace setters in coming up with new products, coming up with new platforms for conducting business. But in as much as it is also an opportunity, it can also be a very disruptive period for those businesses that fail to adapt to the new changes. So what it means for businesses in Zimbabwe is, let's look at the positives. There are opportunities now where you can expand your market space, you can reinvent your products, you can digitize your offerings, you can reach out to more people than before. If we look at it from that perspective, we chase the positives. But if we watch and wait and hope that what we did last year will work this year, what we did 5 years ago will continue to work for us, we will also be history. So for every industry, we should be watching out all the time for the telltale signs and listen carefully to what the customers are looking for so that you can be able to continue to be of relevance in your market space.
You've mentioned the telltale signs. Now, Edward, no one can predict the future. No one can tell what the future has in store. But we are at a point in business where we have to be seeing into the future, a future that no one can really predict. Now, Edward, this is a precarious position because we don't necessarily know what will happen tomorrow. But what steps can we take today to ensure that we still have a place in that future?
The good thing is we don't know what's coming into the future. Therefore, it means we know that the future is not going to be like today. So for starters, if we continue to do things the way we have been doing before, then it means we cannot be relevant in the future. And it is imperative for business, wherever you are operating in, whichever market that you are into, you should be ahead in terms of introducing new services, introducing new platforms, introducing new offerings, so that by the time customers realize that they need it, maybe you're introducing something that today people are not seeing why exactly you're bringing it on board. But you have to be there before your customers are there, so that you can welcome them to the new inventions, to the new innovations, to the new offerings. If you wait for customers to be ahead of you, that is where the disruption that we're talking about. You may realize that where you thought you had market share, it is lost. Where you thought you had a control of a certain market segment,
Yes.
you realize that the market mixes that you used in that particular market segment do no longer apply. So for businesses to continue to exist, we definitely have to be reinventing ourselves, reinvent the product offerings, reinvent our processes. And this speaks to not just talking about technology. Technology should be the one thing that you then use to implement. But internally within the people, the way we conduct business, the way we model our business processes, there are a lot of changes that needs to happen. Good example is nowadays people want to do things online.
Yes.
We talk about it, but you don't realize how much you need it until at some point you really need to conduct that business online. Once you access a platform that allows you to conduct business online, no matter how many years you have been dealing with a certain provider or with a certain provider of a particular service, you quickly abandon.
Sure.
So if a certain provider fails to quickly provide those facilities that allow customers to enjoy the comfort of conducting business online, the comfort of having access to something that you want when you need it, then definitely you'll be left behind. So there's an issue of reinvention. There's an issue of actually being ahead of your customers. And obviously for us to achieve this, you need to create within your business environment a platform that allows people to innovate.
Yes.
Now, when we talk about innovation, it's not always a straitjacket. You try something today, it may work. You try something, it might not work. But there should be a framework that allows people to bring new ideas, try them out. If they work, then you nurture them, and then you take them to the market. If you don't have that ecosystem within your business, you continue to look after what gave you money yesterday, what gave you the market share yesterday. But before you know it, you then eventually will find yourself, you will lose it out. So continue to reinvent, continue to re-innovate, continue to reimagine, and always think, what is it that might be needed tomorrow?
Yes.
What should I do today?
Yes.
So that I'm ready when this thing is needed tomorrow. When this service is needed tomorrow, I have to be the one that is providing the service. When we look at all the innovations that have been happening within technology in terms of product offering, we read about stories of companies that have been running for years on a loss. But they knew that the product that they are bringing on the market, eventually everyone would like it. When smartphones came, it was not an instant hit. It takes time, but before you know it, now we can't do without smartphone. We wonder how we were operating before with the button phones. So it's exactly the same in all industries. You really have to be ahead of the customer needs so that you can remain relevant.
Wow. Edward, you know how they say the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step? Somebody listening to you right now and thinking Edward has unpacked, he's talked about reimagining, reinventing, he's talked about using technology as an implementer or enabler, but you also have to take a holistic view and approach to the entire business where you're looking at the people, the processes, the customers as well. What are we offering them, the products? Somebody who's listening to this conversation right now and they are thinking, okay, where do I start? So this journey of theirs of 1,000 miles, if they were to just take 3 steps this very moment, what would you advise them to start looking into?
Correct. What I would encourage and advise any business to look at first is, where do we want to go?
Okay.
Any transformation journey should be driven from the business perspective.
Yes.
Not from the technology perspective, but from the business perspective. Where do we want to go?
Yes.
Where are we currently? If you know where you are and you know where you are going, it becomes an easier conversation now to say, how do I get there? But the danger, one thing that people should avoid is whenever there is a problem or you realize you need to change things, you quickly look for technology that you can dump. It's like looking for a scapegoat. So let's define our business objectives. Where do we want to go? Let's also rally our people, because definitely a transformation is about people, is about what the business is trying to achieve. Yes. When we do that, we have got everyone on board and yes. we know where we are going. Yes. Let's elect a champion who yes. can help us to drive that vision within the organization. Yes. Someone who can keep reminding everyone that, remember, we are on a transformative journey. In as much as we keep the status quo, we really need to look into the future. Yes. From that moment, you can start to see that one step at a time, a business can start to reinvent, it can start to transform itself. So know where your business is, mm-hmm. what are the business objectives, mm-hmm. define them, get people on board yes. so that you can move with everyone, elect a champion, then start to run your transformation journey. From there, you definitely will start to see progress.
Edward, what a very rich conversation we have just had. Thank you very much. So many nuggets to be gleaned. And that's a wrap. Thank you to you, our viewers, for tuning into this segment. We hope that you have been able to get a lot of value out of listening to this conversation. Till next time, do take care and keep safe. Thank you.